little bit different between the episodes of maybe we can devote us. Maybe I just made a good episode of every Aquarium, yes. So with it, me also is what spot how you doing? I'm doing great. I just finished for this recording my CSS Grid series. Super, it went really well, and after this, are you ahead of anywhere? Just sit down on the couch, mostly local, just them around. What about you, Michigan? Three, 3 in the morning when it's gonna be dark. Yeah, Michigan until next Wednesday. We're gonna there for Christmas stuff like there back for this pretty much it. A lot of Michigan chicken pies. Yeah, go to Meyer, go to Meyer. There's also Meyer. People were more super compares the mass passing the average to grocery and retail grow in general. We don't have there although has anything as mayor. We used to live in a city called Dexter. There is mayor there is seriously like the worst place in the entire make me rethink overall. It's more like the location is the absolute greatest characteristic make me, but not the best mayor. Mayor is like I don't know. It's like grocery store. Absolutely everything also has entire Walmart as well. I don't know. It's just a magical place because food is so cheap. It's extremely cheap. So the price. But anyway. In this episode, we are going to talk about what is CSS spam, why would you want to use it, sort of explain the concept heard about. I didn't understand. Well, now I'm looking. It's extremely simple. We got a homework came in the 10-15 minutes for you. It's sponsored by Ever been clicking? What a sweet name. Ben has he's super into a D3. I don't know what you call a visualization, a JavaScript library, built chart and did a visualization, all kind of cool thing. What he's doing, he has learned D3 in 5 years. It's a free emoji, one piece every day. We'll talk a little about pathway through these 3 5days.com for the slash syntax 3 and 5 are numbers. So, so on the top of these three, have you ever tried to learn these three? I have many times. It's so hard. It is. It's got like a massive surface area, a couple of different you just nail over a couple of days in this email course. It's gonna make a learning vessel a lot of easier. I'm actually gonna take this email, try to learn this so many times. Pretty sad. But what is a CSS BIM, Scott? CSS BIM a really naming organization system for your classes because you know, as your project grow, they go from what they should be on using this and this CSS file potential intersecting overriding to cascade help pretty quickly. three things CSS film does is basically allow you to system naming everything in CSS classes. You can be custom whenever you to organize them. So BIM is acronym. It stands for Block Element Modifier. Should I give a static explain or people? We should talk about what problem it solve. We talk about sometimes when you add CSS in a break something out, you got a big scope issue. One of the things about CSS is entirely global. When you run some, is no way to scope that to your specific component. As we componentize stuff, instead of a general style, we want to be able to scope our CSS to specific elements. I'm writing a blog post. I have different piece of that the block in that case. So the whole div around the pole is that will be a post. We'll give that a class post. Inside of that, we have element. You may have a post folder, a post author, all the different pieces or items. They are just elements of that specific component. The idea is that your block your elements inside of that is post hiding, post folder, post author. What you sort of the naming convention is you using the block, which is the underscore the element name post underscore post underscore content, and then there is the m is the which is the modifier. I have this post hiding kind of like a variation on that post hiding a little bit bigger. How do you do that idea? You have a modifier is a post underscore dash large. Is still a post hiding is a little bit different. Post hiding, that's the whole idea behind the modifier. That's right. I think people first hear about the CSS bin. I think they think it's a big system. Was this concept is extremely to keep going. Some criticism of them is sometimes process is long name hyphen state long name underscore another long name. It could be kind of long for you to not use the system really like adding class of everything. That is add way too. It's so romantic of a clean HTML. Just I don't know, just put that aside, give it up. You're gonna extremely long class name. When you have that, you will have something like I don't know. You have a link underscore. You may have underscore link and dash active, whatever it create active in the navigation or something like that, and you have an extremely long class upside, so it's extremely easy to write a new component to style new component in your CSS or size or style list or less. You don't have to write you can use the ampersand instead of it. Just the ampersand underscore hiding instead of dash large compute those class name for you. So I mean, in addition to prevent you from collision issues, stuff like that, it organizes your CSS file really nicely. Encapsulation or says whatever, uh, you always know where everything is nice and neat. When you add a new thing to where basically it has a launcher of a little minor benefit, something like I don't know. You can keep your stats fair on it, but have them that are more quick, a little bit better. So yeah, I'm a big fan of a system like this. And it's some sort of this system is definitely a way to go. Like I said out, the verbosity how repulsed it was. Eh, one of the things you want to try, you want to use it, you want to see the benefit yourself. You will, I get it. Why everybody like it. I think that's the answer of give it a shot. People literally those is been we now have CSS modules. The benefit to you using CSS in JavaScript style component or this 100 library. You don't need this naming convention anymore. Style command is take care of scope for you in that case, or H2 type or div of a class post that is very simple. Style component will take care. It's easy to like treat it sphere. Everybody uses still working on applications that are CMS based for 5 years. This is something you can immediately put into place without having to any additional tools. You can incrementally add it. I'm big fan to incrementally add anything you spend when you have some free time when you wear it and start writing some of the old classes. Actually, at the benefit, uh, you get a new entire project looks as wide. You write a little bit more efficiently rather than hopefully that clarified what that BAM and give it a shot. I'm a huge fan of after I just hitting myself why not for not switching over to it. Same mentality like I'm writing good essays when I start I realized I could be much better CSS. Rather big than I thought it would be. And I look back, I was running names causing. I will change one thing on the other page. It just get out of control when you anything like big fan of band. Definitely check out. Let's talk a little our sponsor, which is email course birthday. So we are trying to use the whole Minnesota thing trying to answer some listener question in Minnesota as well. The question that we have today is, do you use Dropbox? If you are a developer, if you have a project, should you put it in, should also keep it outside of speed up? This is hot topic that every 6 months also comes up, always gets me heated because it's so frustrating. Dropbox is one of my favorite piece of software out there. Passive backup. You should have to remember back up your data because it's not if something goes wrong, it's when something goes wrong. I love the automatic fallback to data. The downside for the Dropbox is that if you're a web developer, when your app is .git folder entire history, that could get pretty big too. After you have a node module folder, uh, biggest folder on the face of the planet for 100,000 files, cause your MacBook to spin up things get really hard when Scott, what's your opinion on Dropbox in web development? I don't use it specifically because I think thinking of that is a huge mess. And my computer doesn't like it. I don't like it. I would like to be able to do it. Thinking all of those files is too much. I have other passive paths, time machine going up to cloud cloud drive. Yeah, I don't know. I don't use it personally. I can get away with it. I think of the files. I do use it. I will tell you why. Because people by my the first one you shouldn't put Git in Dropbox. Git is a version control. Why don't you just use Git? Many times I accidentally look the file between commits, not be able to roll back unless except I have it in a Dropbox. Dropbox incrementally save those changes. That's good. People often tell me selective sync. You can turn on sync in a specific folder that is not actually exactly what you want. That's not it. What the delays are from your computer is synced to Dropbox you want to update, and also you can did that every single project. I don't want to manually go to every single one. What my solution is, I just that is very powerful. I don't notice the CPU spiking anymore, so that's good. And secondly, I also, for me, I don't have multiple computers. I'm not actually to multiple computers. If you have two computers, what can help you get out of sync because all its quick drive change branch really quickly. Job got really confused. All of a sudden, you get single stuff of choose not Dropbox. I don't use actually never have that issue. Pretty happy about that. People say use something else. There are tools out there allow ignore node module and get based on what I really want. Node file it could be Dropbox